Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Banterly, the Gen Z podcast about pop culture, media, and everything in between. My name is Aidan, and here we have Maya back in the studio with us. How are you, Maya?
Work's been intense, but it's a typical week. Been going on to a lot of open houses because I'm moving.
Oh, how have the open houses been?
Like New York, open house hunting is the worst thing ever because the brokers are shady. The apartments are even shadier. It's hot out. It's just, you run into the same people, the same apartments, because if you're looking for a 3-bedroom in a certain budget, there are only so many options. My roommate has really been pulling the weight for this project, which has been great. But hopefully we find a great place before we have to get kicked out of this one, or else we will be houseless. How are you doing?
My TikTok has been filled with videos of this couple.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
That were exposed for cheating at a Coldplay concert in London. Now, I first saw the video and I was like, oh, this is weird. And then I kept seeing videos explaining it and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
I have seen this. It was hard for me to believe, though, because it was the headline that everyone's using, even before I saw the video myself, was the CEO of a very wealthy company is having an affair with the head of HR of said company. And I was like, this is an SNL bit. This is not realistic. There's no way this exists. It sounds fake, but it's not. And you watch the video and it's them like hugging each other and you get the close up and then you get their eyes locked in when they realize they're on the big screen. Oh my God.
And Chris Martin's literally like, oh my God, they're either shy or they're having an affair. It's crazy that what are the odds that you're in this stadium with tens of thousands of people and you are with your lover next to their coworker who just got promoted a week ago that I saw via LinkedIn. And the coworker was smiling from ear to ear. She was like, we all been new. Obviously they knew if they were canoodling right next to each other.
It was so shocking. Part of me is also like, I feel like if you decide to go to a public event with cameras, expect to be caught.
I think the concert was in London, so they're American, I think. So they were must have been some work thing of
they really went remote.
So they were like, oh, we're in London. We're at this Coldplay concert sitting in this stadium. But the thing is, I saw TikTok comments and everybody was like, if they would have just kept it cool, nobody would have found out. Which I get the instinct to run, but everyone is just oh, look at that couple. No one's going to be Googling the people who are on the Jumbotron because nobody's going to be watching a video of a Coldplay concert, by the way. That's just not going to go viral.
Wouldn't it be crazy if you were recording the Coldplay concert and then you were scrolling through old footage? Every once in a while, I'll look at old concert footage and you see your boss and the HR chief. I'd be like, did I AI generate this? That's so true.
God.
If they hadn't reacted, no one would have cared. You are so right.
Before we get into the topic of today's episode, some bittersweet news for everyone. After a good run, Banterly is ending in August, so we're going to have a few more episodes. It'll be fun. And then have our final episode this summer. Listen to the last few. Enjoy them. Let's get into our question of the day, which today is, what's your most chaotic car story?
Okay, my most chaotic driving story. I started learning to drive later than the average person because, as I will mention, I'm sure a few times today, I'm a total passenger princess. When I did learn to drive, though, I couldn't do it with my mother because she white-knuckled the entire car ride. And she's a very anxious person and she still won't drive. I still can't be in a car with her when I'm driving because she stresses me out so much. So I went to a driving instructor, as someone would. And it was this program where ex-cops would teach children how to drive. I took one class and My biggest fear was the highway. Okay, that's what I will say. Maybe it was just me when I first learned to drive, my biggest fear was the highway. He told me, without me even saying anything, we are not going on the highway. Then we start driving out of my neighborhood. He's like telling me to take these turns. And within 5 minutes, we are on the freeway. And I freaked out. And his whole thing, when he learned how to be a cop, they just kind of shoved him, which is horrible, by the way. They just put him in the dangerous situation to see how they'd react. And it was kind of sink or swim. Like, are you going to hit the car next to you or are you going to drive well? That was the scariest moment of my driving career history. It was the worst car ride of my life. But it did a lot of good for me because now I'm not afraid of the highway that much.
That is so stressful because, I think with highway driving, you just have to rip the Band-Aid off. But my question for you, Maya, is when he told you to turn right to get on the highway, why didn't you just go straight? And you're like, when he was giving you instructions and you were like, oh, yeah. And then you were on the highway. Why didn't you not get on the highway?
Why did I not get on that? Because he was like, oh, yeah, get into the right lane. Drive. And then you're in like a right turn only lane that merges onto the highway. And you're like, let me just go straight. Let me make my own choose your own adventure. Let me make my own path. I just didn't know what type of highway entrance. It was like that's the entrance. I'm not going to go. Okay, but what about you? What was your most chaotic story?
So mine also has to do with learning to drive. Fun fact for everybody, because we're from Missouri, we didn't have to do driver's ed. So that was never a thing that either of us did. So I was taught by my parents, and I think I probably had a permit still. I'm not a license yet. But to prepare me for the worst of anything that could ever happen while I'm in the car, I was signed up for something called Tire Rack Street Survival. You can Google it. It's in many states across the U.S.
The program is basically designed to try and simulate real-life emergencies that might happen out on the highway, out on the roads. The students...
But Tire Rack Street Survival. So let me explain what this is. It's just a bunch of teenagers and adult mentor chaperones, because we're all partnered with somebody, and you're just driving in situations that I don't think I've driven in many of them. I think it's good to do. Like, it was just like, if you're hydroplaning, this is what you do. Like, we had to swerve really, really, really fast in a circle or on a cone and like meander through cones. So like, it did keep me on my toes. And the reason I did it is because one of my dad's friends, who also in the past has helped him buy and sell cars, was like a mentor in the program. So like, each student has like a mentor in their car with them. So my dad was like, oh, let's do this. Okay. So signed up. Me and my dad drive out there in St. Charles, by the way. And in this big parking lot, I was so scared. I was terrified. One of the reasons that I did this because my dad's friend was a mentor. So he could be the one in my car. So it wouldn't be a stranger. Well, sign up. Everything's ready. My dad's friend's like, I can't choose Aidan as my mentee. Someone already chose him. And then he gave the name of this man that chose me. And I was like, I don't know who that is. So when I get there, I was like, oh my God. Like, and then this guy walks up, he like introduces himself. So I was with this strange man. Let's call him King. And King, he was an okay instructor, but there was one point when we're swerving around cones and King empties his whole water bottle on me. He throws it on me and I got wet and I was like, oh my God. And he was like, you never know what could happen. And then I go back and I tell my dad, and my dad's friend is like, that's not in the protocol. Like, that was a little extra something that this man decided to do. And I was like, he went off script.
Wait.
But grateful for that because I know how to drive in hydroplaning, but it was so strange. And he was like a weird little man. Like, it was strange. Well, on the topic of cars, today we're talking all about F1, the movie, a new sports drama film starring Brad Pitt as a former driver returning to the Formula One track.
Some people look at Sonny Hayes. They see a guy who lives in a van, a gambling junkie who missed his shot, the best that never was. But I see possibility.
The film follows Sonny Hayes, played by Brad Pitt, who back in the 90s was like the rising star of race car driving until an accident left him injured. He took some time off and then returned to driving did Daytona, and he was doing some random Grand Prix here and there, just what he could see on, Craigslist and Facebook, like driver wanted. Then his old friend Ruben, played by Javier Bardem, who is an old friend of Sonny's from back in the 90s when they were both rising stars. Well, Ruben continued on the up and up, and now he is an owner in his own team, Apex. And Ruben's like, hey, we're not doing well. We haven't won a race. We haven't placed.
You plus him, boom, I got a team.
When was the last time you won a race?
Sunday, Daytona.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Formula One.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then same as you.
Come be a driver for us. I have this new guy. He's young, but we need to place, or else the board's going to force a sale. I'm going to be out like hundreds of millions of dollars.
You're making a mistake. Thinking that I'm just going to be some grateful kid who'll bend the knee to an old timer.
I never should have pulled you into this.
Down the inside, contact!
That's the other driver. You say he was old. He not that old. That's a handsome man, right?
And the whole movie follows Sonny and the young driver, Joshua Pierce, played by Damson Idris. And they're battling it out for the number one spot. There's qualifiers, there's semifinals, and then they finally make it till the final race in Abu Dhabi.
The only place you could say, if you win, you are the absolute best in the world.
Aidan, going into the movie titled F1, how much did you actually know about F1?
Literally nothing. I knew it was a car race, and I knew that at least one of them happened in Miami, because the only person I know is my friend's boyfriend, and they will go to it in Miami. But I don't know anything about how it works, who the big players are, because apparently Lewis Hamilton is pretty big. But when I saw his name on the script, I silently Googled it to myself and whispered under my breath, Lewis Hamilton.
For people listening, I watched that in real time, and that was maybe the funniest thing I've ever heard. He was also in the movie. He produced the movie. He was in the movie as a professional race car driver. And he's also widely known as the best, or like one of two of the best F1 drivers to ever exist. Aidan, I'm going to match your story. For years, people had been telling me, like, Lewis Hamilton's your type. You'd like Lewis Hamilton a lot. And to me, I was like, oh, he's an F1 driver. He's probably like this white, like upper class, snooty Nepo. Like, that's not my type. And it's also like, doesn't sound like someone I get along with. Come to find, Lewis Hamilton is none of those things. The first time I gave him a Google, I was like, oh, this is who they were talking about. He is so like nice, and he's into fashion. He's walked a ton of runway shows. He always has the coolest outfits. He seems really down to earth. He's just sick, and he's gorgeous. And I'm happy that you now know him. And if you keep up with like you'll probably spot him at a fashion thing. I feel like that's where your worlds overlap with Lewis Hamilton and or F1. You're going to spot him in the crowd.
Now I know what he looks like, so at least I have that. I'm sure I'll see him more now that I recognize his face. But did you have any knowledge about F1?
I knew nothing about it. My good friend and roommate in college was the one who first put me on to like the F1 trend. I didn't even know people were interested in it until she started talking about it. And everyone around me started talking about F1 a little bit. And it was because of the Netflix show, Drive to Survive, that people watched in 2019, 2020.
All I ever do is pray for a safe race. I never thought that I'd be there one day watching my son.
For me, it's heart attack after heart attack.
Are you okay, Nico? Get me out, there's fire. There's fire.
Netflix really grew the F1 fan base, at least in the States with the people I know. But I knew nothing about it going into the movie. Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, I knew some names, but not much other than that.
Even though we came with limited knowledge, some more limited than others, walking into it, we both, I think, seemed to enjoy the film. I think just the way that, and I went into this thinking I was going to hate this part of the movie, but just the way that in a 2.5 hour movie, it could keep my attention the whole time. And so what worked for me was the length, because it was a nice ending and everybody got what they wanted.
Disagree with you because I think it could have been 20 minutes shorter.
Everyone got what they... I disagree.
I disagree with you because I think it could be 20 minutes shorter, but like now in the standard, it's everyone's putting out a freaking 2.5 hour movie that we're supposed to sit and watch. This one was captivating the entire time. I do agree with you. I think they could have shaved off, but that's a really good point.
It was just really good. And I felt like I still don't really have any interest of going to one of these races, but at least I know what happened. Like, I had no idea that they stopped in the middle of the race to get like a new outfit, like an outfit change, like a quick change. I'm a theater kid. This is how I make reality make sense. So they're doing their quick changes and the crew's like fixing the wheels, and they do it at like less than 3 seconds, and they have to be out so they don't lose time. I'm like, that's amazing.
It's so impressive. The quick changes. I love it being described as a quick change. The whole concept of F1, I never really understood. I kind of assumed it was just this, like, as I said before, like this European super upper class. You only really get into it if you have been on the track. Like, there aren't that many racers. Like, think of how many other athletes there are. Like, the genre of soccer player versus the genre of F1 driver is just like tiny. Was an interesting look into F1 because I would have never done it myself, to your point. Never. The driving scenes alone, the racing scenes, were so beyond incredible. Like, the plot was good, like acting was good, humor was good, but the driving scenes were so incredible. And when I looked around the theater one time, because when I get stressed or like when I hold my breath, I like hold my mouth, and I looked around and half the theater was just like gripping something or holding their mouth. And that's, I feel like, such a good sign of a good movie. Like, they have you on the edge of your seat holding your breath in a racing movie. Like, it was insane. I felt like you were in the car. Every turn you turned, every crash you were a part of. Whoever, the filming, the sound, the light, like everything was just perfect. It felt so real.
Some of the shots were, I was tense when they were racing because you could see them in the car, out of the car, going around, the speed, the communication with the crew. And it was tense every time, butt cheeks clenched.
Cheeks were clenched.
Also, just like the graphics of it all, especially there's spoiler alert, 2 accidents that happen. And one of them, Joshua Pierce and Sonny are kind of slowly trying to get on each other's side. One of Sonny's strategies was to kind of stay behind and deal with the competition in like a defensive way as like Joshua is meandering his way to the front, which was so cool to watch. And one of the first times that he does this, Sonny's like telling Josh what to do. And it was raining really hard, and Josh did what he thought was right and didn't listen to Sonny. And he crashed, he flipped, and Sonny immediately like gets out of his car, is like putting the fire out, gets into the fire to bring him out. Even thinking about that, you guys, look, goosebumps. I sat a little bit better because I was like, they can't have 2 people crash in one movie. And I thought I was fine. And then Sonny crashed and I was like, no. Oh my God.
And then Sonny crashed. And obviously he's like the old race car driver, and his career stopped when he had a crash in his youth, when he was up on the trajectory to be the best F1 driver. He got in a crash. And then when he was with his younger friend racing, he also got into a crash. It was very historic and memorable.
At over 200 miles an hour. See an opening. Go for it. The rookie attacks in 11.
No. Here's Paul's alongside the Red Bull. He's wheels ahead for the first time ever. GP. Oh no!
This sounds stupid, but it really is a dangerous sport. Both of these people, like I see these F1 drivers on the red carpets, and I don't realize that they really are risking their lives every single time they get on a track and or race, because the speed that these cars are going and the tracks, I don't think I could make it without crashing driving 10 miles per hour. So I don't know how someone does that.
Literally, like driving like a regular person is a dangerous sport. And then doing that at 200 miles per hour in circles around other people.
When someone's feeding information in your ears.
And there's someone to your right, your left, your front, your back, you're surrounded, and you got to keep going. You got to keep your foot on the pedal. Oh my God.
You're surrounded. It's not brain trauma. It's just like death. Like, but really, truly, we'd be curious to know how high the mortality rate is.
Did you feel like the whole movie was just kind of like an ad for F1? Like one long feature film ad?
It was a 2.5 hour ad. I truly believe that. It felt like an ad to me from the beginning to the end. Within the maybe I'm reading too much into this, or maybe this was super obvious. I don't know. I haven't talked to anyone about it, but the first 10 minutes when you figure out that Sonny's supposed to be at some like low-level, stupid, dirty, like trashy race. And it's the Daytona race. It's like NASCAR's biggest race.
This is that moment. If he could pull this off, this is what this vision, the dream's all about.
Out here in Bobby Allison takes command. Jeff Gordon looking for the checker flag.
Earnhardt to the inside.
For me, that was like F1 trying to tell us, you Americans, what you think NASCAR is a dirty dumpster, like hillbilly racetrack, that it will never be considered prestigious. And then he's given the biggest opportunity with F1. That, like, even within the first 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, they're setting the scene for what F1 means. And I didn't, to me, NASCAR and F1 would be, I know nothing about racing. This is what I thought genuinely before going into this. I'm like, oh yeah, they must have some sort of competition, but no. The F1 is so much bigger than NASCAR is. So I thought it was a little bit of like not an FU to Americans, but kind of, they know what audience they're reaching. And that was a good way of like setting the scene for what F1 is. Also, the fact that so many of the racing scenes were filmed at actual races with actual F1 drivers. Because to me, there's a difference between creating a world of racing versus creating, like, they use the same names, they use the same tracks, they really based F1, the movie, in reality of what F1 is. And I'm sure people can nitpick it and say that this is not how it works and the driving doesn't make sense and the teams would never have this car out there, whatever. It felt like a giant exposure for F1. Not that they needed it maybe in Europe, but in the States, a little bit.
I totally did not catch that at all because it was kind of like this guy, Sonny, can like win Daytona and he's he hasn't worked in years. Like he's like, I didn't even catch that was like a diss. Even though I don't know much about racing, I just associate NASCAR fans as a little bit more,
rugged?
Like a little bit more, not rugged, but like redneck. Like I feel like that's is that derogatory? Or
I don't think so.
And I always just thought of like F1. I only knew it definitely happened in Miami, and I just felt like the people who would get a box. Like no one's getting a box at a NASCAR race unless it's.
Yes.
Well, I don't know about that. I shouldn't speak about a community. I didn't think it was an ad at all until all the great points that you made. And I was like, oh, wow. I didn't cross my mind at all. I was just like, this is just a movie about F1. I don't know. Like, what do they expect? Just an uptick in sales? Maybe. I don't know.
More eyes? Because the tickets for F1, maybe you can attest because you have a friend that's been, are ridiculously expensive. It's not an affordable sport to be a fan of. And they also are all over the world. So it's really not an affordable sport to be a fan of.
That's true. That kind of comparison also just kind of goes to our generation's obsession with the elite activities and shows about elite people. I mean, was it like our last episode about sirens? Like, what would be your favorite rich person hobby?
F1.
I played all the F1s in a box.
I have an F1 season ticket holder. I'm a season ticket holder of the F1.
Yeah.
Of the Formula. That would be a really great rich person hobby. But it is, you have to have the money. But same with the drivers. Like, I feel like all of these drivers have an extraordinary pedigree and come from drivers themselves and can afford to be on the tracks at a young age. It's just for the rich from the rich. And this movie, to your point, it's definitely trying to get an audience that maybe doesn't come from that background, from the rich for the rich.
I'm glad that we watched this movie because I'm tempted to maybe like watching a real race on YouTube or like one day being invited. I don't think this is ever something I want to pay for myself, but it would be cool to experience one like fast car race, whether it's NASCAR or F1 in Abu Dhabi in a suite. But that's...
Okay, when you put it like that, NASCAR does sound dumpy. Daytona does sound like trailer trash. That's so funny. F1 in Abu Dhabi or Daytona Beach. It sounds...
Yeah. No, I feel like it would totally be fun to like travel to a destination, make a little trip out of it, and then have F1
be the focal point.
And you know what we can start with? If there's one in Austin, we should go to, like, I've always wanted to go, like, do a little, like, Austin or Dallas or Houston, one of those.
We should go to Houston. I'm actually going to Houston in a week and a half. We should go to Houston, and then we should go drive to, I don't know how far Houston and Austin are.
Oh, Lewis Hamilton has the most wins at the Austin one.
I think does he have the most wins ever? I thought Lewis Hamilton had the highest or the best record of F1 races. Maybe there's someone else.
I mean, your guess is way more than mine. See, you guys, I came into this knowing very little, and I might have walked out knowing even less, but no, I do think I learned a lot. And it is like a fascinating industry that it really shined a light on. And the movie was good. Like, it was just an old, reliable, good action movie. Like, you're going to be entertained. You throw it on for movie night.
1000%. Like, watch it with your family. Your parents are going to love seeing Brad Pitt, who's like the icon of their generation. Gen Z, you're going to love the Tate McRae music playing in the background. It's for everyone. I would tell everyone, if you have the opportunity to see it on the big screen, it is so worth it. Like, you pay for your ticket in the experience. Like, you get your money back by seeing those race scenes on the giant screen. And it was just incredible.
If you've seen the movie, share your thoughts with us at banterly@immigrantlypod.com and engage with us on our socials at immigrantlypods on Instagram and at immigrantly on TikTok.
Banterly is produced by Shay Yu, written by us, the co-hosts Maya, Shetty, and Aidan Taylor. The executive producer and editorial review is done by Sadia Khan.
Our sound designer and editor is Lou Raskin. The Banterly theme music is by Simon Hutchinson, and additional music is by Epidemic Sound.
See y'all in August.